Hello, greetings and salutations, and welcome to Amateur Hour Live Edition. We're doing live. Um,
Except for we're not
I,
actually live.
huh?
We're not actually live.
I see me. We're doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am, of course, Damien, and to my
I am to your left.
left is Rob. Hey, Rob.
Good evening, Damien. I can look
Yeah.
over here and look at you, even though that's
Oh,
awkward.
I got that way. Yeah. What's up?
How are things on
And
this fine December?
they're lovely,
Excellent,
and
excellent.
it is the season to be December. La 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 la, holiday season. And because of that holiday season, let's talk about winter. This amateur hour is going to be about Winter Wonderland, which to us means just kind of chatting about what we like about winter. What's an exciting adventure to us in the winter time? Like what we want to do, what this inspires us to be doing outside, right? So yeah, we're gonna chat about that, figure it out, talk to you guys. We're not probably going to instill too much information here, other than specifically saying it's cold and do things in the cold. But yeah, no, it should be a fun time.
Yeah, for sure. One thing we don't like about winter, though, is everybody being sick, which is why there is only two of us.
That's right.
The observant among you may have noticed that Ian is missing. Ian is not feeling well. Mostly, he doesn't have a voice, so it's not like he's going to be any use, anyways. So
Any more of a use than he usually, to be clear.
we told him to take the night off.
Get out of here. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So yeah, it'll just be us. We'll be hanging out. Of course, if there's anyone who wants to hang out and chat with us, maybe he'll pop in and chat. That'd be fun. But yeah, should be fun. Rob,
Sir,
what do you like about winter?
what
What's
do
your
I
favorite thing about winter?
like about winter? I like that we can go places that we'd like to go to in the summer, and there's not as many people
Yeah,
there. So,
yeah, it's
like when we
pretty.
go to parks or hiking trails and stuff that are just slammed in the winter, you can park like right at the trailhead in the summer. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's really like a completely different experience, right?
Hmm.
Like traveling and going to like anywhere in the summertime, it's just like okay, lineups and parking fiascos and like hunting for campsites because potentially there's four campsites you've passed that you have to find somewhere else for because they're full.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
also, like you said, like different. Snow makes things different. It could be a place that you hike all the time in the summer, but you go in the winter and it's just sort of like it's a different landscape, different world. Different
Yeah.
animals are out, different things are happening. Water is solid sometimes.
And different animals aren't out too. Like I like it's kind of interesting that there's less animals, right? Like things are hibernating. Bugs aren't around at all, right? Like
Yes.
it's super different for
Yes.
that.
Another very important point. There are no bugs.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
No
man.
stupid mosquitoes to give you 80,000 bites.
Yeah. No, I don't go out for 80,000 bites, that's for sure.
No. Yeah, no, I'm mostly the same where it's just like it's amazing because there's no one there. And I love how it changes the landscape. Like it's super, super cool. Like you can go, if you go to a place in the summer, you can go there that same place in the winter, and it's just like going somewhere completely different. Like it's you got icicles everywhere, you got lakes you can walk on, you got like yeah, whole mountains forming of snow that you can pass through or walk over. Very
Yeah,
cool.
totally. Totally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and even having like lakes frozen or rivers frozen or creeks frozen, it opens up more areas to you as well, right? Like not everyone has a canoe or has the ability to get a canoe into places, but I mean, come winter, throw some skis on, throw some snowshoes on, you can get to those places.
Yeah.
Maybe with a
Or
little
even
less gear, but
you can even just camp on a lake, like like you don't even have to travel. You can just be there and be like, I'm in this now huge place. Obviously, precautions, please, everyone. Check your depths on the ice thickness and all that jazz. But yeah, you can do it. It's possible, right? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And very different experience compared to summer.
Yeah,
Obviously, some people don't like the cold or the weather as much as in the summer. I mean, I'm one of those people. I like being warm and comfortable, but
I love warm.
you can just dress for it, right? I know
Yeah,
it's easy to say just dress for it, but you can do it. You can do it.
yeah. It's pretty hard not to have a vague sense of what your warmth levels are going to be requiring for a trip, right? Like I typically have like a whole layering system anyway. So it's like in the winter, you just change that layering system or you add an additional layer to that layering system and you call it. It's really cool. So, but what do you use to keep warm? That's a great question. Like what's your gotta keep it on a trip for warmth? Your favorite thing
The
for
favorite.
that.
The one thing that seems to come with me all the time, I have a vest. It's like a thinner material vest, but I do that. I wear that for all my winter activities pretty much. Whether I'm hiking, I'm camping, I'm snowboarding, any of that stuff. I wish I knew what the material was on this vest, but it's thin and it's very warm, and it's a very quick, easy layer to pull in and out as needed.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's not cotton.
No, it's definitely not cotton. No, no, no.
That's the key. As we've discussed before, don't wear
Yes.
cotton.
Yeah,
Cotton
don't
sucks.
wear cotton.
Uh, yeah, yeah. Mine's. I thought you were gonna say those amazing mitts you have, because those are my favorite Rob thing.
I was
Like,
going to, but I don't wear those when I'm snowboarding.
well, yeah, okay, yeah, and I guess it is kind of like situational dependent. Um, but yeah, those are my favorite Robism when you're winter
they
camping. It's
they are
just
pretty
like you
sweet.
go and they're literally like we'll put a picture up, I guess, but they look like just huge gauntlets of like fur
Yeah.
and tan, and it's just like oh, they look wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly jealous every time I see them.
Yeah, for people who may not have seen them, I don't know why you would have seen them because we haven't posted any videos of them yet, so really no one has seen them. They're giant oversized wool mitts with a rabbit fur on the one side on the outside, and they're giant because the idea is I can wear my gloves or like a smaller mitt and put it inside for like extra crazy warmth. They also come in handy. You can put them on the ground and kneel on them, or use them as a seat and sit on them. Or if you have thin gloves on, you can keep your gloves on there and take your mitt off and still have the dexterity of your hands. So they're pretty
Nice.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that would
certainly
definitely be my
sounds.
second choice.
Yeah, they sounds like they come in handy.
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, yeah, for me, I would say my favorite piece of gear for the winter is probably um, is actually something that Tim gave me, and it's these like ancient sorels. I have these
Yes.
winter boots that like they're incredibly like ancient, truly, and they're just amazing. Like there's no better feeling like where my feet are just always toasty warm whenever I'm on any of that trip, and for me that's the hardest thing. If you mess up your boots, keeping your feet warm is just a disaster. Like I can put my hands in my pockets, but I cannot put my feet in my pockets, unfortunately.
Exactly. And I think
So.
that's probably the first thing that people tend to complain about when they're new to winter activities is my feet are cold,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I had an actual situation, like a critical situation where we did a huge hike and it was like -20 and someone had the inappropriate footwear and their foot fell through ice into water.
Oh no.
So it and it absorbed all the water into everything. Like they went straight to their feet and the only thing they could do was like immediately leave, like keep their heart rate super high
Oh
and
yeah.
immediately start hiking back to to civilization and vehicles and stuff like that. Like it was just there's no solution there. We were on like a potential like 3 hour hike and it was just like okay, sorry, buddy. See you later.
Yeah, no, that's
Like,
like get
like,
out because there's no
yeah,
coming back from that
yeah. There's no solution we have for you here. So
unless you want to
yeah,
like set up a camp and drive over a fire or something. But I
right.
feel like a
Like,
3 hour hike is not really
yeah,
the
it wasn't.
place you want
This
to be
wasn't
doing
like
that.
a camping trip, right?
Yeah,
Thank goodness
yeah,
it was a camping trip because
yeah.
that would have been bad. But yeah, so yeah, footwear for me is like that. It's lovely. It like reduces any concerns I have. I get to like kick through the snow and do all this stupid stuff there. So thanks, Tim. You're the best. Um, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, man. And for in terms of winter gear, I think
Yeah,
winter boots are the one thing that you do want to invest money into. I mean, you can get away with cheaper jackets, cheaper coats, cheaper layering, but man, just spend the extra money and get like an awesome pair of boots because
yeah,
it's going to make everything so much better. And as Damien pointed out, they're so crucial. If something
yeah,
goes wrong there, like it's going to be bad times.
yeah.
No one
Like
likes bad times.
exactly to the point of like even on a not outside of a comfort level, you can't solve your feet. There's no solution for your feet. Like your hands, you get your gloves wet, you put your hands in your pockets,
Yeah, there's
and
somewhere else.
then
Yeah.
you can survive, right? Like there's no solution for your feet.
Yeah.
Like no,
And
really critical.
also, once your feet do get cold, it's very hard to get them warmed up again. Or not very hard, but harder, right?
Totally.
Um, like you said, you can put your hands in your pocket, you can throw more layers on your body, and that'll work. But if you have your boots and all your gear on your feet already, and they're getting cold, like that's gonna be a situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's my favorite gear. But you brought up a really good point. It's totally activity focused on where that may change, right?
yes,
So
exactly.
I guess a better question is, what activity you doing more than anything else, man?
These days, most of my winter activities are hiking. I used to be way into snowboarding, and then we had kids 9 years ago. But the awesome thing is, we got them out skiing last year, and my son is super into it. So we're gonna be hitting the slopes a lot more this winter, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
he's from what I've seen, he's pretty good. he's picking up
He's got
he's picking up very quick. Yeah, so
he's got that
that's
kid,
great.
right?
Yeah,
So
that being low to the ground and young and malleable. Oh,
yeah,
so jealous.
never breaks anything, just folds in half and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
yeah, I'm super stoked. But yeah, a nice like family oriented event that most people can do. Go for a hike. Find a nice trail nearby.
mhm. Yeah, like it can be as easy or as hard as you want, right? Like just go out and explore and see the cool changes in nature, right? Like
Yeah,
it can be snowshoeing if you need it. It can be just hiking boots through a cool place, whatever it needs to be, right?
yeah,
Super
exactly.
cool.
Or of course, as
Yeah.
always, the old standard tobogganing. Always a good time. Just don't break anything. My wife.
Make sure the 9-year-olds are in charge because they never break anything.
No, they just bounce off of trees. They're fine.
Yeah. Funny aside, actually, I have a younger sister, and I just recently found out that there was a wonderful tobogganing experience that I did with her, where we were like hanging out and going down trails, and I was pulling her down and stuff like that, and she actually confided in me saying that that was actually the worst experience of her life. Where she was terrified the whole time. It was like traumatic and all this stuff. And I'm like, here I am thinking like, oh, this like 4 or 5 year old kid is like having the time of their life.
Yeah,
And
good bonding
we,
experience.
oh,
Meanwhile, you're traumatizing her.
yeah, it was really traumatizing her.
5 years ago, that's been a long time ago. Jeez,
Yeah,
trying to do the
yeah,
math in my head.
like 15 years ago. Yeah,
Long time ago.
jeez. But yeah, to your point, I don't have kids. So my favorite activity, wouldn't you know it, is snowboarding.
What? In BC, your favorite activity is snowboarding? God, that's
No way, right?
crazy, crazy news.
Yeah, it's pretty good up here. I don't know if you've ever heard, but
I've seen better.
yeah, maybe.
Have you been to Tremblant? Let me tell you.
I have
Actually,
quite
trombone
some.
is pretty fun.
It's great. I
Yeah.
love Trump. It's got really good glades and
No
stuff
hate,
like
no
that.
hate for trombone, but
No, I love
it's
Trump.
not BC.
It's not. It's not. And yeah, snowboarding here just a totally different beast from the East Coast. Certainly in the comparison of like Toronto to Vancouver, just proximity more than anything,
Oh
and
yeah.
just being able to do it all the time, right? But yeah, no, it's the best. I love it. So last year I did a whole bunch of riding. I'm hoping that my skills come back to me again, and continue to do a whole bunch of riding this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Got a
Hmm.
season's pass for anywhere?
I have a pass, not a season's pass, to Whistler.
Oh,
Get like discounted rate passes if you like buy a number of tickets in advance. So I just bought myself a 10 pass to Whistler, so
nice.
I'll be there 10 times.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so that'll be great. Obviously, outside of that, we have the local mountains, which aren't too expensive to just kind of buy a ticket and go when you want to. So I just do that if I want to do something local, or if
Yeah.
coworkers after work are saying, "Hey, let's go for a ride," I can just kind of go. That's pretty cool.
I love that you call them your local mountains and Whistler, because Whistler is what, 45 minutes away?
Oh
And
no, it's an hour.
it's an
It's an
hour.
hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Damien. Our local
Come.
mountain is what, like 2 hours? And it's really more of a hill.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a fancy hill.
Yeah.
Whereas
Well,
the
my
the closest real mountain, which is Trombone, which we're talking about, is 5 hours away. So you're not going there for the evening.
no.
God,
Yeah. My
stinking flat
local, like
Ontario.
true local mountains, like I have three of them. Um, Grouse, Seymour, and Cypress. All of them are like half an hour away. So it's like, yeah, it's totally a just you just leave after work with your snowboard and you can just go.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's sweet.
yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah,
It, the,
I think I commented when I was visiting you in Vancouver that Vancouver's just basically a ski town, but just big.
yeah, yeah. In the wintertime, absolutely,
Yeah, there's
man.
people like walking
Like,
around with snowboards and skis on public
yeah,
transit and stuff. I'm like, man.
yeah. Exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's like so motivating to be like going to work in the morning and you see someone with a snowboard on that same SkyTrain and you're like, oh yeah, I should be doing that. Like,
yeah.
let's go do that.
Why am I going to the office? God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's brutal too. My office looks at the mountains, so it's just like
Oh,
calling me at all
taunting.
times,
Yeah.
taunting. So I'll have to figure out how to not work ever again, and then maybe I can snowboard more.
Yeah, that's always the dream. Point of
Yeah.
interest, the only time, I don't know if I said this story or not, but the only time I skied on the West Coast was at Whistler, and it was super foggy and rainy the entire time. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the standard West Coast skiing experience. I feel like it's not, but
It can be though. That's I've definitely had days where it's that. And the nice thing is it's typically not a situation, or it typically is a situation you can sort of mitigate. Whereas like the entire mountain isn't like that, right? So you may not be able to go to the glacier or do the big flowy runs down half bowls and stuff like that. But in that situation, you can kind of stick to mid-level or lower levels and just play in the glades, and then you can see everything.
yeah,
All the ability comes back, right? So it's that in that situation, it's great to have like 1,500 meters of vertical
yeah.
to play with.
And that's the situation I ran into. I was spring skiing, and the bottom of the mountain was all closed, so you had to go up.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was still a cool experience, but
Yeah.
it's just so funny that I had the one opportunity to ski or to ride in BC, and that's what it was. Like, man, I gotta go back now.
You should just come back all the time. It's
I should. Flights are cheap.
man. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, well, we're talking about Whistler, and I would say, I mean, that's probably my favorite place to go in the winter. But do you have a favorite place where you kind of go do hiking or snowboarding, or whatever your activity is? Do you have a favorite place to go every winter that you kind of like don't try and miss?
Um, I like to try to go to Blue Mountain, which is our local snowboard hill. I try to do that at least once a year.
And for hiking or something, is there like a place there
So
uh,
I'm
you
pretty lucky. My parents live. I don't want to say northern Ontario. It's central Ontario. It's further north than where we are, and they have
in
a.
the
It's
country?
in the they live in the country, so they have easy access to lakes and hiking trails and nature. So, I mean, we go visit them quite often in the winter, and that gives us the opportunity to do things like hike or skate on the lake or snowmobile. So we get all our winter shenanigans in that, or not all, but the majority of our winter shenanigans in that way.
Yeah, and then of course the bonus there is you have a place to drink mulled wine and be warm afterwards.
Exactly, exactly.
So that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
no,
all very convenient.
having been fortunate enough to visit that family and you guys have there, yeah, absolutely, it's great. That would be my favorite for sure.
Yeah,
Like that's good
it's
times.
a kind of an all-in-one location.
Yeah, well, it's nature, right? Like it's surrounded by nature.
Yeah,
So, like, yeah, it doesn't have snowboarding, but neither does anywhere else. Um,
but what it
so
does have is being pulled behind snowmobiles on
yeah,
snowboard.
with oh my goodness,
The next best thing.
such amazing thing. Such a country thing. I love it.
Oh, totally. So,
Sweet.
what? I mean, we've touched on all the like the super obvious activities. What are like some of the less popular activities? Like, do you do overlanding in the winter at all, or is it
Uh,
pretty hard?
Really hard.
Yeah.
I do it. I've done it. I've attempted it. It's really hard to do winter overlanding. Like you need some pretty deep treaded tires to be able to make it through snow. Um, Fun fact, I might be doing winter camping over New Year's, but we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
With overlanding involved. So yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
But maybe it'll suck because it's really hard. Like, yeah, my
Yeah.
tires don't have the grip. You constantly need to put traction boards down or do things like or stay low elevation, and then there's no snow. So why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Kind
You
of
gotta
thing.
find that sweet spot where there's like a little bit of snow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can be in the snow, have a really lovely experience, and then get out easily.
Nice. Are
Yeah.
you and Chris gonna do another triathlon?
That's Yeah, I want to. So I did some avalanche training last year. I got a certificate to do avalanche rescue and stuff like that. So I'm ready to do some more backcountry style snowboarding, split boarding, and stuff like that. So I'd love to do more of that this year.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
awesome.
we'll see if I do. I mean, it's totally like a lot more complicated and a lot more time consuming than just going to Whistler to do a trip like that,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So it's like you got to get all this gear. You got to like hunt down areas with decent conditions. You got to like plan to get there and how you get there. You got to Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then you got to hike a mountain to go snowboarding on it.
It's all
It's a
part of the
long
adventure.
Yeah, it totally is. No, it's not negative. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
yeah, those things that like you gotta figure out.
I just
And
love that triathlon video with you too. It's so good.
yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah,
It was
man.
hilariously embarrassing because at least at the top it was so flat that me on a snowboard
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
disaster. Yeah, that was rough. But once it got steep enough to ride, it was a super fun trip.
Oh yeah, you got moving. I
Yeah,
got some good shots of you moving.
we got some good shots. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, at Fairy Lake, that place you camp, is that like somewhere you can hike up to and snowboard there, or is that like too aggressive?
At the Water Sprite?
Water Sprite Lake, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Fairy Lake
Cool.
is here. That's wrong province.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, you can't snowboard that. That's like fully like a ridge hike where it's like I want to say like a single track of getting up.
No, but I
And
mean
then
the bowl like where you camped, like at the lake itself. If you hiked up farther up into, because even when you were there was still like a lot of snow in that.
there would be a lot of snow there.
But is that
Yeah, I
like
don't know. I
pretty
wouldn't.
aggressive?
I think it's too aggressive for me anyway. Like it's aggressive with low reward, you know? Like for me that would be like you hike all the way there
Yeah,
and then you can't ride all the way back. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like be like a hike all the way back down. So I would probably look more towards something where it's a bigger, more open and has a way to get at least most of the way back down through snowboarding.
yeah, yeah. Which I'm sure there's lots of options.
Tons of options. Like they're everywhere. Yeah. Both local, like nearby, and then far away, like hours of drive away. So yeah. So we'll see. I hope to. I hope to do more kind of stuff like that. We'll see. It's got a higher risk, so you got to be more careful. But it'll be fun for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But speaking of, that was a great trip. The triathlon, the BC triathlon.
Yeah,
Uh, do you have like a favorite trip of recent memory that you did?
I really like the scuba diving. I haven't dove for a long time, and that was the first time I've dove in a while, and I'm like, man, I want to do like way more of this.
That wasn't winter though, dude.
And you said recently. It hasn't been
I
winter recently.
that's my bad. Yeah, I
um,
guess I'm thinking winter wonderland.
recent winter trips. Um, so Ottawa, the Rideau Canal in Ottawa is really really awesome. For people who don't know what is, it's a boat canal in Ottawa, and in the winter, obviously, there's no boats on it 'cause it's frozen. But what they do is the city maintains it as a huge skating rink, and I think it's like 10 kilometers. I want to say this is where we need Ian because Ian lives in Ottawa part of the time. And he has all these answers. But yeah, it's like a 10 kilometer long
Yeah,
skating rink that they flood and take care of. So it's like
yeah,
usually it's pretty sweet. Sometimes
it's
it gets
awesome.
kind of rough, but yeah, like being able to skate 10 kilometers in one direction and then turn around and come back, and they have all
Yeah,
sorts of activities on it and stuff to do
yeah.
while you're skating. Like it's super cool.
I went there once and they were doing like wine tastings along the way, which
Yeah,
was super, right. Like it's just such a different experience of skating. Uh, totally wild. Yeah, no, good call. That
yeah.
one's fun.
There's like restaurants and stuff on it. There's art exhibits. Like it's just I'm really bad at skating too. I'm just gonna put that out there, but I still enjoyable.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I was hoping to get out this year and do a video of that because it's such a
Ooh, yeah.
wild experience.
And it's
Well,
so
maybe not
unique.
wild, but a very unique experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super unique. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are many places in the world, but I don't know of many places in the world where yeah, you just flood an entire canal and then you go tour around or use it as a way to travel and get to school or whatever. Like, that's super wild.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
very
know.
cool.
One of my friends was talking about growing up in the Netherlands, and I know they do a lot of that there too, because
Hmm.
there's obviously a lot of canals in that country. The difference there is they're not maintained. It's just a natural freeze, whereas Ottawa, like they actually like take care of the ice and keep it nice and crisp.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, there are other places in the world you can do it, but Ottawa's close.
And like honestly, the making it nice is the important part because I think you and I have even tried to like make an ice rink on a lake, right? And it's hard.
It
It's
is.
hard to make good ice for ice skating.
Yeah.
Like it's really like it's potholed and pucky and all these things happen that make it kind of unruly to try and ride.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah, no.
sure. Now, sometimes you do get lucky and you have years where it gets really cold really quickly and it doesn't snow, and then the lakes are all like glass and you can just skate across an entire lake. And that is wild. Like that's such a super cool experience, but those years are here anyways are kind of few and far between. I don't even remember the last time we had a year like that.
That sounds wild.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I've definitely never done anything like that. That sounds really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, yeah, I in BC we don't really get a lot of frozen lakes, right? Like all of our big lakes are low elevation, so they typically don't freeze because it's not cold enough.
Yeah.
I mean, in this area, I should say. I mean, interior to is different. They definitely freeze.
Yeah.
But and then the higher elevation ones are all glacier lakes anyways. Like they're all cold. They've all got like big streams or currents running through them, so they typically aren't safe to go on, right?
Yeah,
So,
makes sense. Makes
yeah.
sense. What's your
Sweet.
go-to location? Whistler.
Oh man. Yeah, it's gotta be. I mean, I typically, yeah, Whistler's my favorite, but also I think just to say something other than snowboarding, because obviously that's kind of boring. Get that answer the whole time. I really love snowshoeing just in the local mountains here. So there's a couple of hikes that I can do, and when the snow gets really deep, you bust out the snowshoes to do it, and yeah, there's no one doing it, and then on a clear blue sky day, it's just like picturesque, and you get like these gorgeous vistas that you get to just go on. So, so if I were to pick a very specific one for the winter time, there's the Bowen Lookout, which overlooks the Howe Sound, which is an inlet here with a bunch of islands on it, and then mountains on the other side of it. And you capture that at sunset. That's pretty good. It's pretty awesome. So probably that one, I would say, uh,
Nice.
for a place to go.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Mm.
What sport, winter sport, or winter activity do you not do that you would be interested in getting into?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say like I've only very briefly tried the backcountry snowboarding, and I've still never used a split board. So I think like really committing to that and trying that, that's probably biggest on my list, and that's kind of the reason I went to the avalanche course was to be more prepared for that, and I still haven't done it. So that one's definitely top of my list where I just really want to try it. I want to rent the proper equipment, the proper split board, do everything, and like really see what it's about. No, not ice
Ian to
climbing.
say ice climbing.
Not ice climbing. God, boo.
I want to get into filming Ian ice climbing,
Yeah,
where I
ice
can
climbing.
stand on the ground and drink tea and hold a camera.
Yeah, ice climbing is terrifying. Like I fly down a mountain on water, admittedly, but I don't try and climb water. Like that's that's a whole other level. I'm not interested in climbing water. Uh, yeah, he would certainly say ice climbing. Like that would be his answer.
That's what he
Yeah.
does though. What's Ian? What's your answer for what you want to get into? Let's ask him
Yeah. Your
that.
new.
Yeah, because there's no videos of ice climbing yet, but there's a lot of cool photos of Ian ice climbing. And Ian, we're gonna make videos of you ice climbing this year. I'm coming with you, whether you like it or not. Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, he's been on so he's definitely the most experienced for winter ice climbing for sure. And then I want to say like maybe like even winter camping we've done a whole bunch of times together. So he's got a huge list of things he's done in the winter. I'd be interested to see what his real answer is here.
yeah. Well,
If
my
he answers.
my answer is and this involves Ian, which is why I'm bringing it up now, is cross country skiing. Because I know Ian cross country skis, and we're supposed to be hopefully doing a camping trip this winter where we ski in. So I
Nice.
used to
Yeah.
ski like a long time ago. I didn't really like it. Oh, my mic's over here. I didn't really like it, but I'm willing to give it another shot now that I'm older and hopefully less of a wuss.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm more of a wuss. I don't know. We'll find out.
I love cross country skiing. We have Cypress here that has like trails set up for cross country skiing, so I typically do that like a couple times a year. It's awesome. And it's a great way to be active, right? It's basically riding an elliptical,
Yeah,
but you get to go places. I love
I
it.
remember getting a good workout in when I did it. I was probably
Yeah.
like 13 years old the last time I did it.
Exactly.
I don't think I was doing it with the right technique, so I'm interested to try it again. Looking forward to it. Ian
Nice.
says more mountaineering in Ontario.
What is he talking about, man?
I
I don't understand.
would like to
Like,
do
yeah,
more mountaineering too, but we're
cool.
in the wrong
Yeah.
province.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Why don't you hang out with me over in the mountains?
Yeah, we have to
Yeah.
go to mountains to do that. But yes,
Yeah,
I would put that on
exactly.
my list as well. Good answer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, man.
awesome. What about, okay, so I mean, one of the highlights for me about winter camping, um, is definitely the food that you can bring.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
do you have like a an exciting, interesting, and or like fun, delicious food you eat because you can now? Like, is there a thing that you do
Usually
that
you just
that
bring like cuts of meat, man, because you can't bring like steaks paddling in this summer.
sure can't? Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
that would
man, that's when I get all
be
my
me.
my carnivore on for sure.
Yeah, you get to have like, yeah, as many cuts of meat as you want every meal.
Basically, yeah.
Bacon, steak, whatever. Yeah, I love it. That's yeah, I would say steak on a fire is probably like the coolest thing that I get to do for winter.
Yeah, for sure. We or like a skewer shish kebab kind of
Mhm.
thing. Like that's
True.
always awesome over fire, and winter is a
Mhm.
good time for that.
Yeah, totally.
And it always tastes better too in the winter because it's everything's so cold, and then you have like hot steak. Oh,
Yeah.
make me hungry.
What about what about drink? What about a drink? Like do you like bring anything fancy to heat up on the fire to drink or
Perhaps like an alcoholic beverage. Is this what we're getting at, or is this just
anything
a
you
legit
want?
question?
Yeah,
uh,
anything you want. It can be like PG. It can be a tea if
we
you like tea.
Oh, I just drink tea like year round all day,
Yeah,
so that's nothing really special. But yeah, the winter mulled wine goes down very nice.
nice. Yeah, I really like uh the apple cider. Like getting an apple cider
Yeah,
going. Just heating that up with some sticks. Awesome.
yeah,
It's a
and
little bit to carry, and if you want, you can make that alcoholic because you just throw
yeah,
alcohol
that's
in
easy to do.
it.
And
Yeah.
in the winter, it's a good idea to always have like a hot beverage ready to go and available. So, I
Totally.
mean, mulled wine might not be the idea behind that, but like a hot like cider, like Damien said, or back when I was in the Scouts, we used to always have a big pot of like hot juice crystals going, which I know to our adult palates sounds kind of gross, but it was friggin' awesome.
Real
It's
gross.
a real good way to warm up quickly. Let's go
Yeah.
pound a bunch of sugar, hot sugar.
Yeah. No, I love like hot drinks are definitely like a key to any good winter experience. Like bringing to like if you're going on a hike into the mountains or to anywhere and you just have like a thermos even with just like some super hot tea or cider or whatever it is, like it's so tasty and it just warms you up immediately, which is, probably got a benefit to it.
Yeah, totally. If I'm
Yeah.
doing like a longish hike, I'll even bring my stove and like a little pot,
Totally.
and then so I'll have a thermos of tea that I have as I'm going, and then while I'm out there, I'll make a cup for me and a cup for the thermos.
Yeah. And you, of course, definitely don't melt snow, right?
No, you're not supposed to, but sometimes it happens.
No, it takes too long. I hate it. Like even like on a practical level, it drives me
Yeah.
nuts.
No, for a hike, I have water bottles. Like it's not an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just doing things.
Yeah.
So I kind of hinted on it.
Ooh.
Winter camping, right?
Yeah.
Uh, gotta be my least favorite at this point, winter activity. 100%. But do you have like a activity that you're just worn out on and you don't want to do anymore, or that you would focus on doing other activities instead of for winter? Is there something that you don't like?
um. Yes, but in fairness to your winter camping comment, we had a couple pretty rough winter camping experiences,
Ah,
which may have left a bad
yeah.
taste in your mouth. I think it's something you need to revisit. But something I don't like doing. I don't like just walking around like town in the winter.
Oh, okay.
Or like
Yeah.
I know my wife likes walking to town and like going to like a bakery or going to like a coffee shop or something. I have a destination. And it's a good
Right.
excuse to get the kids out of the house too, so that's kind of nice. But I'm just like, I'd way rather like let's drive like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or hike one of these trails that are by us. Like it's just, I don't know.
So
It's
yeah. So you
harder, which I know
you don't
why
you
we
feel like
do it because the kids don't want to like slog through snow, but it's so much more fun.
and like so the Christmas markets are not your ideal version of explorations, I guess.
Christmas markets are okay because it's something different, right? And you don't
Right.
tend to walk through the same Christmas market like 4 times a week, right? Not that I'm hiking through town 4 times a week, but
I mean, maybe it's your town. Possible.
yeah, Christmas markets
But
are kind of their own thing. But just to walk downtown to go for a walk, like if I'm gonna go for a walk, I'd rather like walk along the creek.
yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Like there's no
Yeah, I
salt or anything to get your boots all dirty and
true. And you don't even get to like I don't know. I feel like for me, if I'm dressed for winter in the city, I'm dressing different. Like those lovely sorels I was just doting are super inappropriate. Not just because I'm vain, I guess, but like it's just not something I'm going to be wearing these massive like 30-inch tall boots over my stuff unless I really need them. But yeah, I just don't dress the same way, so
yeah.
it makes it enjoyable, wearing your fashionable stuff and you know your city boots.
I've kind of given up on that. I tend to just wear my giant boots now, unless we're like
Yeah,
going like to like a restaurant or something. It's just giant boots. I just don't
nice.
care anymore.
I like it.
Yeah, I want my feet to be warm.
Yeah, no. Well, it also doesn't snow in our city, so it's like it sometimes snows and everyone dies. But
Yes, yes. If you've watched the news recently, everybody died.
yeah, everybody dies. All the accidents in the world.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Do you still have snow
Uh,
there now?
no, no, it's all gone.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yeah, it melted probably within a week, which was nice because no one knows how to do it here. I feel like an absolute alien by actually knowing how to drive here in the winter. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and to your point, I mean I about winter camping, I am winter camping still, right? Like I'm doing it,
Yeah.
uh, potentially even on around New Year's with the overlanding. But yeah, man, those were a couple really rough trips.
I
So just
think I
like
had the
maybe
flu
not.
on one of
Yeah.
them.
Huh?
So I think I had the flu on one of them. Like I
Yeah,
went
yeah,
there with the flu and didn't
yeah,
realize it until the first night.
yeah. That was yeah. They've been rough.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It was fun, but I was also
super fun.
dying, so not as fun as it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe my heart will be turned to gold, but also as an old man, speaking of your wearing your boots just everywhere, my winter sleeping bag is like my fall sleeping bag now. So
Nice.
if I actually get in the winter and like want to start getting into it, I think I need like -60, like I need
Yeah.
like a real deep
Gotta keep
winter.
the chill out of your bones on those long
Yeah,
cold nights.
that's right. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, no,
that brings me up another question. Do you have like I know this is kind of going way back in this conversation, but we're talking about camping again, so I'm going for it.
yeah.
Do you have like a weird piece of gear that maybe for like winter camping that you have that not many other people have or would think of having?
Weird. Hmm.
I'm bringing it up because I have a
Yeah.
sleeping hood, which I
Okay.
wear in my sleeping bag.
I
It's
love
it's an
that.
army surplus item that my dad found actually, but yeah, it covers your shoulders and it's just like a hood. So you have a hood that goes like inside your mummy bag,
No, I don't
and I've
really have a.
never seen them like anywhere else other than the one I have. So
I will say another article of winter gear that I have that is kind of weird, but not for the practical reasons you're talking about. Um, I have, and this is again thanks to Tim. I have I want to say late 80s, early 90s winter jacket, which is like all shades of red and yellow and purple.
Is it Sun
And
Ice?
this is sun ice,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's a pullover, so it doesn't have a zipper on the front, and it basically has like hoodie pockets in the front, and it's the coolest thing. Like it's just so fun. So I wear that still. Like whenever I'm looking to like have like more like playful shenanigans kind of stuff.
Yeah,
That's
totally. Because
it's a
it's
great.
kind of more of a shell, right? Like a
Yeah,
slightly
it's
insulated shell. Yeah.
well, it's a 90s shell, so it's bad. So like it's not amazing at keeping water out, and it's really good at keeping your heat in.
Yes.
So as far as what a shell does, it's not ideal, but like that's okay in a lot of situations because like what we've talked about before, you don't necessarily want complete breathability, right? Like you want to be warm
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally cool with it depending on the conditions and to ride like Cyprus or something local with more like a silly kind of outfit is more fun. So
Totally. And Sun Ice is like that's pretty. You get a lot. You get respect if you're rocking Sun Ice.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. My little monocle on.
Yeah, yeah. Sun
Fancy.
Ice
Oh
is
my God.
great, and apparently, it's coming back. I think the
Nice.
company has been restarted, so hopefully we get some more sweet, colorful jackets in the near
Yeah.
future because they
And
were awesome.
match them with my pit vipers.
Yeah, heck yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, I would say that's probably the weirdest winter gear I have. Everything else is just like normal, keep you
Just
warm
gear,
and
yeah.
or practice gear.
It's your Throwback Thursday gear. That's
Yeah,
sick.
exactly, definitely. Yeah, no, it's yeah. So I guess my one big one that I'm curious about, and I guess it's kind of been talked a bit around, but what's the biggest lesson you've learned trying to do something in the winter? Like either winter camping or going on a hike. Like was there a hard lesson that you were taught by the winter? I mean, for me it would be the boots thing. Thankfully not myself, but seeing it, that was a hard lesson of like, oh yeah, you can't play around with boots. But
Yeah.
do you have something like that where it was like, oh, geez, like that's I'm gonna never do that again, or I should do this every time.
Um.
Yeah.
So like a couple big things. The first big one is keeping your hands warm. Um. And how to go about doing that. So I like to have like people always say like wear mittens, wear mittens. Like you're gonna be warmer with mittens than gloves. You are going to be warmer with mittens than gloves. There's a reason people say it. Um,
Hmm.
it makes a really big difference, and figuring out what options work for you is very important. And now, as we discussed earlier, I have a giant pair of super warm mittens that I
Yeah.
wear on the outside of my other warm gloves and or mittens. So there's that.
Hmm.
And then in terms of like knowing how to take care of your feet and knowing what the appropriate boots are to buy and a couple like life hacks regarding boots. I think those are probably the biggest things you learn. Like little tricks like if your feet are super cold, like you can put like a shopping bag around your foot and then put your sock on over top of that and then put that into your boot liner. Like it's a good way to warm up your feet relatively quickly. Um,
Hmm.
there's a downside in that your feet sweat a lot, so you gotta be careful of that. But it's a like I said, it's a good way to warm up your feet quickly. Or if you're, it's more important for if you're in a situation where your liners are wet,
Yeah.
then you have that waterproofness between your feet and the liners. Um, another quick life hack is if your boots aren't super awesome, what you can do is if you can get, I don't even know if you can get closed cell foam anymore, like those foam sleeping pads. If you
I'm sure
cut,
you.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Okay, so if you get, if you have an old one of those, or if you don't mind cutting up a new one, you cut out inserts for your boots that go into your boot, and then your feet go on top of that. It gives you a little more insulation on the bottom of your boot, keeps you a little bit more up out of the snow, and it's an extra layer of insulation. So I mean, I have like a whole bunch of stupid little tricks like that in regards to a bunch of different things, but those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are good ones for sure.
Tricks for feet and hands.
I keep forgetting about the insert thing until I'm wearing them in the middle of a forest. But I was like, ah, shoot, I should do that because Rob did. I remember you doing that,
Yeah.
and I was like, what a good idea that is. And then I promptly forget every time. So maybe this will be the big trigger for me to actually consider doing it.
So I only ended up doing it on my last pair of boots, which were getting pretty old, and some of the insulation had gone from them. So
Hmm.
rather than buy new boots, I just got up some old sleeping pads, and I got another like 3 or 4 years out of them.
I mean, that's awesome. 3 to 4 years
Yeah,
of a
man.
boot.
Yeah, it was good.
Because cut some thing and put it in. Like that's crazy, man. Like, you know, that's such a good investment.
Yeah.
Especially when boots are like, especially winter boots can be like hundreds of dollars, right? Like many, many hundreds, sometimes thousands, but never for me,
No,
thousands.
no.
But, but certainly hundreds. Very hard in the hundreds. Um, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ian's is learning moisture control. Also,
Totally.
highly recommended.
He says that, but he's bad at it because he's basically a walking sack of moisture.
But that's what he's learning, right? He's
Yeah, so
figuring
he
it
has no solution to it is the real problem.
out.
Like his moisture control is I'm gonna go out in the winter in a t-shirt and I'm gonna be fine
Yeah,
because
if
he's
it works.
a mountain Sherpa. But I just remember a hilarious moment where winter camping with Ian, and he had a winter sleeping bag. And not only did he use his winter sleeping bag, but he also brought a liner inside as well as an emergency blanket around himself. And I just have this vivid image of him where we wake up in the morning and it looks like, do you remember Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, where he's being birthed out of the rhino?
Yeah.
So
I can
just
picture that.
this sweaty, gross man just like appears out of this bag, and it's just like, oh man, like yeah, that's gross, and you're gonna maybe be unhealthy now for the rest of the day unless you figure out how to dry up all that stuff.
Oh
So
man.
that was that was rough. But counterpoint, he probably had a really nice sleep. Probably really, really good. I'm jealous.
Nice hot sweaty sleep. Sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Tasty.
Yeah.
Just breathing the salt, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Sweet.
Um, so I feel like the conclusion of all of this winter wonderland conversation we're having is go out and experience winter, right?
Yay! Yeah,
Go,
totally. But
even if you don't like snowboard or do any sort of crazy winter sports, overlanding, ice climbing, crazy people.
I mean,
Yeah, go for a hike.
we have to deal with winter potentially a quarter of the year, sometimes 6 months of the year. So, you're doing yourself such a disservice to not just kind of embrace it. However that means to you, like be it skating or whatever the world is. Yeah, definitely just hang out, get out there and find what makes you happy in the snow.
Yeah, we have a lot of winter here, so might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Any last remarks, Damien, or do you want to take us out?
I think we're good. Yeah, I don't know. Just checking the comments, obviously. Ian is definitely agreeing with
Sleeping in a
uh,
sauna.
sleeping in the sauna, which I would not recommend. But that is something I love to do in the winter. Also, is going to a sauna and then hopping out and going into the snow, like that Scandinavian style
Yeah,
of experience. That's just so good.
that's a winter activity I could get behind.
Yeah, yeah. Going to a sauna in the forest tomorrow.
Oh, fancy. That's awesome.
So, yeah, no, I don't have anything new. So I guess we can call it there. Again, thanks so much for joining us, guys. It's been super fun to chat about this. Hopefully you like these kind of chats, and hopefully Ian can get less sick so he can actually contribute more than just chatting alongside. Because, that's nice and all, but we miss him.
We do.
So
I miss you,
yeah.
Ian. Feel better, man.
So yeah, no, thanks so much, everyone. It's been an awesome time chatting about this. Awesome, it's awesome time hanging with you, Rob.
Likewise.
And yeah,
Always a pleasure.
we'll see you all again real soon.
Yeah, it'll be in the new year too, so happy new year, happy holidays.
It's happy Kwanzaa, Christmas, Yalda, all the does,
Hanukkah, Festivus.
all the cuz, does, and mas.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right, man. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Oh, I should go like this.